My wife cheated with her gym trainer. While I was saving for our first house, so I took everything. Canceled her visa and left her crying in shame. I'm a 31-year-old guy, and I thought I was building a future with someone who shared my dream. 5 years ago, I met Maya while working overseas. She was 24, soft-spoken but ambitious. And there was this spark between us that felt like home. I was managing logistics for a construction firm in Dubai, and she worked at a nearby health cafe. It started simple, shared coffee breaks, late-night chats in the parking lot, and slowly, talks about the future. She told me she always wanted to move to a more stable country and build a life with someone who truly valued her. I thought, that's me. When I got promoted and had the chance to return to my home country, I asked her to come with me. It wasn't impulsive. We'd talked through it all: housing, visas, jobs, marriage. I covered the immigration fees, found her an English tutor, and even sold my motorcycle to furnish the one-bedroom apartment we moved into together. We got married the second month she arrived. It wasn't a grand wedding, just a quiet civil ceremony. But it meant everything to me. To make our house dream real, I started working 2 jobs, 8 to 4 at a construction firm, 6 to midnight doing freelance CAD work. I'd come home with my wrists aching and my eyes burning, but I'd still sit with Maya, listen to her talk about gym routines and the smoothies she was perfecting. She worked part-time at a wellness studio, said she was finding her rhythm. Her Instagram started blowing up. Fitness selfies, brand collabs, DMs from guys with fire emojis. I laughed it off. She said, "Don't be silly. They're just followers." I believed her. I wanted to believe her. Because love, I thought, was trust. But looking back, that was the first lie I swallowed. Some nights, I'd be so exhausted I'd fall asleep in my work clothes, face down on the couch, still clutching a cold dinner plate. But I kept telling myself, it's temporary. Just a few more months of this grind, and we'd have enough saved for a down payment. I was chasing stability. A small house in a quiet neighborhood. A backyard for weekend barbecues, maybe even kids one day. Maya said she wanted all of that too. "I can't wait to decorate our dream place," she'd say, stretching on her yoga mat, while I counted every cent in our shared budget spreadsheet. I'd smile, even when the numbers didn't. To make extra cash, I started designing floor plans for real estate agents on weekends. Slept less, hustled more. Every rupee I earned went into the future we kept talking about. I stopped buying new clothes, skipped nights out with friends, and even sold my PS5, because priorities. Meanwhile, Maya's days were getting different. She'd be gone for hours, gym, content shoots, meeting a wellness client. When I got home, I'd find her editing videos or posing for brand deals in sports bras and leggings with captions like, "Glow up. Don't give up." One time I joked, "Babe, you're turning into an influencer." She smirked and said, "Maybe I should start charging for gym tips." I brushed it off. She was happy, healthy, and doing something she loved. That's what mattered, right? But late at night, I'd hear her giggling on the phone in the bathroom with the door shut. And when I asked who she was talking to, she'd say, "Just Priya from the studio." Don't be weird. I wanted to trust her. I chose to trust her, but the deeper I buried my doubts, the louder they started screaming back. I used to wake up to Maya curled against me, whispering good morning in that half-sleep voice that made everything feel okay. Now, I'd wake up alone, bed cold, her side empty. She started leaving early for fasted cardio and coming back after I was already halfway through my dinner. No text, no explanation, just a tired sigh and a quick shower before she'd crash on the couch with her phone glued to her face. "You okay?" I asked one evening, gently brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. She didn't even look up. "Just tired. I need to focus on me for a bit." That phrase, "focus on me," started showing up a lot. She'd skip our Friday movie nights, cancel dinner with my friends, say things like, "I can't keep sacrificing my routine just because you want to sit on the couch and eat pizza." I bit my tongue more than I should have. Told myself she was growing, evolving, maybe just figuring out her own identity in a new country. But in private, I started feeling invisible, like a background prop in her life. One night I asked her if she wanted to look at some property listings with me. She barely glanced at the laptop. "We don't even have enough yet." "What's the point of playing house?" That one stung. Not because she was wrong, but because I was trying. Killing myself to make it real while she made it feel like a game. I started cooking for us more, leaving little notes on her protein shakes, offering to drive her to the gym. "Why are you being clingy?" she snapped one morning. "I see you 5 hours a week and now you're acting like I'm cheating or something." She laughed as she said it. But I didn't, because suddenly, that word, cheating, didn't sound so far-fetched anymore. It was a Thursday morning when everything cracked just a little. I had left for work like usual. 6:15 a.m. Travel mug in one hand, laptop bag slung over my shoulder. But halfway there, I realized I'd forgotten my wallet. I cursed under my breath and turned back. No big deal, just a quick detour. But when I got home and opened the front door, something felt off. The kitchen lights were on. The faint scent of cologne, not mine, hung in the air. And then I heard it, laughter, hers, soft, almost flirty. I stepped into the hallway and saw them, Maya and her trainer. He was standing by the fridge, shirt tight enough to show every muscle, leaning in close as she poured him a smoothie. She hadn't heard me come in yet. The way she looked at him, head tilted, smiling up at him like he was gravity, it made my stomach twist. When she finally saw me, her face flickered for half a second. "Not guilt, not surprise, just calculation. Oh, hey, you're back?" she said quickly. Jay was just dropping off my supplements. The trainer, Jay, mumbled a polite, "What's up?" and bolted like the place was on fire. I stood there frozen. "My keys still in hand, in our house?" I asked. "It's not a big deal," she said, walking past me. "You always think everything is a big deal." I wanted to scream. Ask why he needed to be here. Why she was wearing full makeup at 7 a.m. Why her eyes lit up for him in a way they never did for me anymore. But I didn't. Instead, I smiled. Tight. Numb. Sure, not a big deal. Because deep down, I knew if I opened that door now, I might not be able to close it again. They say if you go looking for something, you'll find it. But I wasn't even looking. A few days after the Jay incident, I was working on a design mock-up using my iPad, something I rarely touched unless I needed to sketch by hand. I opened the Photos app by accident, ready to swipe it closed, until I saw a picture that didn't belong to me. It was Maya, in a gym mirror. "Sports bra, tongue out," captioned. "You get this view when you beat my PR." My stomach dropped. I realized the iPad was still logged into her iCloud from when we synced devices months ago. She must have forgotten. I shouldn't have looked further. But I did. Messages, dozens of them. Between her and Jay, late-night texts. Gym locker photos. Audio messages of her laughing and saying he thinks I'm exhausted from workouts. If only he knew what really tires me out. There was one photo that broke me completely. Her in my hoodie, lying in our bed with a caption, "Missing your arms around me tonight." Not his, I didn't cry. I didn't throw anything. I didn't even breathe for a minute. I just sat there, iPad in hand, whole body hollowed out. All those nights I stayed up working, broke myself for a future, and she was spending it under someone else. When she came home that night, she kissed my cheek and said, "You okay?" "You look pale," I said, "just tired." But inside, something had shifted. And for the first time in months, I wasn't confused. I was awake. I didn't confront her. Not yet, because now that I knew the truth, I wanted her to think I didn't. There's a kind of calm that comes after betrayal. Not peace, not relief, just clarity. That weekend, I started moving in silence. First, I opened a new bank account under just my name and rerouted my freelance payments there. Slowly, without tipping her off, I drained our shared savings, the same dream home fund I'd built working 2 jobs. I told her freelance income had slowed down. She didn't even blink. Then I booked a quiet consultation with an immigration attorney. Explained the situation. Showed them the messages, the photos. The lawyer's eyes barely flicked as he said, "You'd be within your rights to withdraw spousal sponsorship. Just be careful. These things get messy." Messy. That word stuck with me. So I made a plan. I started backing up everything. Texts, voice notes, screenshots. I changed the Wi-Fi password, turned off her fingerprint access to my devices, ordered a small safe, and hid it in the back of my closet, filled it with copies of every legal document I could think of. Meanwhile, Maya was oddly sweet again. Maybe she felt the shift in energy. Maybe she thought she had me wrapped too tight to notice. She started making me protein smoothies in the morning, asking about my day, curling into bed like nothing was wrong. One night, she sat beside me and whispered, "We should plan a vacation once we get the house." "Just us, no work." I nodded, smiled, kissed her forehead. Sounds perfect. But in my head, I was counting down. 12 days until her visa renewal deadline. 12 days until the rope she thought she was swinging on vanished. She thought she still had control. She had no idea. I had already cut the brakes. It was the Wednesday before her visa renewal was due. I remember because that morning, she looked me in the eyes and asked if I'd transfer more money into our house fund. "Just a little more," she said. I saw this perfect 2-bedroom we could tour on Saturday. The audacity nearly made me choke. I nodded. "Sure, I'll handle it tonight." That night, she came home later than usual. No explanation. Makeup smudged. She tossed her gym bag down and barely acknowledged me. I asked calmly, "You all right?" She rolled her eyes. "Why do you care suddenly?" "You've been so distant lately," I swallowed hard. "You haven't exactly been present either," she exploded. "Oh, here we go. Is this because I spend time at the gym? Because I'm not sitting around like some desperate housewife baking banana bread?" I blinked. "That's not what I said. You make me feel like a prisoner." She screamed. "I'm in a new country, no friends, no freedom, and all I do is wait for you to come home from your little jobs." I stood there silent, fists clenched behind my back. She went on. "Maybe if you acted like a real husband instead of a glorified ATM, I wouldn't have to look elsewhere for—" She caught herself. Too late. Her face froze. Mine didn't. I just walked to the bedroom, closed the door, locked it. That night, I lay on the floor with a blanket, staring at the ceiling while she blasted music in the living room like nothing had happened. I had never felt so small in my own home. She had torn me down to nothing, and still expected me to fund her future. But the rope was running out, and she was about to trip over the edge. Saturday morning, I woke up earlier than usual. The apartment was quiet, Maya still in bed, phone buzzing softly beside her. I made coffee, sipped it slowly, tasting freedom I hadn't felt in months. I moved methodically. First, I emptied our shared savings, every last penny of the house fund, into my new account. It wasn't a theft. It was reclaiming what I had built while she had spent months lying. Then I boxed up her things. All her clothes, her gym gear, her gadgets. I placed each box by the door, labeling them carefully. Personal property. On the top of each box, I taped screenshots from her iCloud, the explicit texts, the photos with Jay, the late-night flirty messages. Every betrayal laid bare. Next, I called the locksmith. New locks. Changed the code to the security system. Every access point she had, gone. I printed the letter from the immigration lawyer, the one stating her visa sponsorship was officially withdrawn. I didn't want confrontation, just documentation. By the time she woke, the apartment looked normal, until she opened the door to leave. Boxes lined the hallway, screenshots glaring at her like daggers. I was waiting in the living room, calm, holding the legal letter. "Morning," I said quietly. Her face went pale. What is this?" "I think it's clear," I said, sliding the papers across the table. "I know everything. Your visa has been revoked. I've taken back control of our finances. You're free to leave." She stumbled back, eyes wide. "Jay, this isn't real. You can't do this." I didn't respond. I just watched. The reality hit her slowly in stages. Her knees buckled. She sank to the floor, hands shaking, sobbing quietly at first, then louder. And as she cried, I felt nothing but calm, because for the first time, the life I had sacrificed for wasn't being stolen from me. It was mine again, and she had nowhere left to hide. The rest of that week was surreal. Maya barely left her bedroom, pacing between sobs and frantic calls to her family overseas. She texted me nonstop at work, begging, pleading, even threatening, her tone shifting from guilt to desperation and back again. "You can't do this." "You'll ruin me," she screamed in a voicemail one night. I listened to it once, then deleted it. Every word felt hollow, every threat empty. Her friends from the gym tried reaching out too. But I forwarded everything to the immigration office and copied the lawyer. By midweek, she was officially out of legal sponsorship. The clock was running against her, and there was nothing she could do. The apartment felt different. Quiet, clean, controlled. My sanctuary. Every corner reminded me of my choices, my sacrifice, my clarity. I didn't gloat. I didn't celebrate. I just existed in the space I had rebuilt. Maya's last attempt came in the form of a text. "You think this is justice? You'll regret this. You'll be alone forever." I stared at it, took a deep breath, and archived it. Meanwhile, Jay, her trainer, thought he could reach me too. Bragging over social media about winning her over, I didn't reply. Instead, I forwarded all his messages and photos to his employer. By the next day, he was fired. Just like that, her backup plan crumbled. Maya had lost everything: her visa, her freedom, her lies. Her social circle evaporated under the weight of shame. Even her family couldn't bail her out this time, and yet through all the chaos, I felt strangely light, because the betrayal that once felt like it would crush me had become my armor. The hardest part? Knowing it wasn't over, she still lingered, texting, pacing, pleading. Every day, the reminder that she could have taken me down lingered in my mind, but now, for the first time in months, I realized that the rope she thought she was holding was never in her hands, and soon she'd understand just how powerless she truly was. A few days later, I got a notification. Jay had tagged me in a smug Instagram post. He was grinning, chest out, captioned, "Finally got what I deserved." Some people just settle for boring. I stared at the screen, fist clenching around my phone. Part of me wanted to throw it, scream, retaliate, but I didn't. I had learned by now that reaction was fuel for them. Instead, I opened a new email, attached the screenshots of his texts to Maya, the flirty messages and all the evidence of his manipulation. I sent it directly to his employer. Within 48 hours, the response came back. "Effective immediately, your position has been terminated due to misconduct and breach of company ethics." I didn't smile. I didn't laugh. I just exhaled. Justice was a quiet thing, sometimes invisible, but its weight was heavy. Meanwhile, Maya's attempts escalated. She called, texted, even left messages on my work voicemail. "You think you can humiliate me and get away with it?" She demanded in one message. "This isn't over." "Jay will fix everything." I ignored her. I didn't need to reply. Every threat she hurled had already been neutralized. Her last lifeline, Jay, was gone. Her visa was revoked. The house fund was gone. The apartment was locked behind new keys she couldn't access. She realized slowly, agonizingly, that the people she thought would protect her, the trainer, me, even her family, were all gone or neutralized. She had no backup, no escape, no leverage, and the worst part? She couldn't even cry to elicit sympathy anymore. There was nothing left. I walked through the apartment that evening, noticing how light it felt. Every corner, every shelf, every quiet space reminded me I had taken my life back, not with anger, not with shouting, but with precision. She had tried to take my future, my peace, my dignity, and in trying to control me, she had left herself completely exposed. She wouldn't recover from this. Not anytime soon. 2 weeks after everything ended, I moved out of that apartment. I didn't sell it. I just left, changed my number, deleted all my socials, and vanished from every place she could reach me. No closure text. No final confrontation. Just silence. She tried, though. I'd hear from mutual friends that she'd shown up at my old workplace crying, begging to see me. "He ruined my life," she'd say, as if I hadn't watched her tear mine apart first. They told her I'd moved to another city. She didn't know where. I started fresh. New apartment, new bank, new number. I even switched jobs, took a remote contract position so I could work from anywhere. My life finally belonged to me again. The quiet felt strange at first, almost too still, but soon I started to appreciate it. The sound of my own peace. Maya's visa expired shortly after. I never heard directly from her again, but a friend from her gym mentioned she'd gone back home abruptly. No farewell posts, no goodbye stories, just deleted accounts and digital silence I didn't celebrate. There was no need. The satisfaction came from the stillness, the kind of calm that doesn't need revenge anymore. Some nights, I'd sit on my balcony looking out at the city lights, wondering how I ever let her convince me I was lucky to have her. In reality, she was lucky I ever loved her at all. I rebuilt my life piece by piece. Therapy, gym, reading, real meals again. I started sleeping through the night without checking my phone. I even met people who saw me, not just what I could provide. And one evening, as I packed the last of my boxes to move into a better place, I found her old photo frame wedged behind a shelf, her smiling, arms around me. For a second, I almost felt something. Then I threw it away, because the past was gone. And this time, I was the one who walked away first. I used to think closure came from confrontation, from yelling, from exposing, from forcing people to feel the same pain they caused you. But now I know it's quieter than that. Closure is walking away without the need to prove you were right. It's sleeping at night knowing the person who betrayed you doesn't get to live rent-free in your head anymore. Months passed. I bought a small plot of land on the outskirts of the city. The same one I used to show Maya in our late-night dream home talks. Except now it wasn't our dream. It was mine. I spent weekends sketching layouts, planning a single-story home, something modest, peaceful, completely my own. Sometimes I'd drive out there after work, park by the fence, and just stand in the quiet. No noise. No manipulation, no lies. Just me, the hum of the wind, and the sound of everything I'd rebuilt from nothing. Maya's gone for good. I heard through a mutual friend that she tried to contact Jay again after he got fired. He blocked her. Then she disappeared online entirely. A ghost in the same digital world she once flaunted herself in. I didn't hate her anymore. I didn't love her either. She was just gone. And the thing about betrayal? It stops hurting when you realize the person who broke you isn't capable of the love you thought they had. You stop asking why me and start saying thank God it was me, because anyone else might not have survived it. The last scene plays in my mind sometimes. Me closing the front door, her crying on the floor surrounded by boxes of her own lies. I didn't take revenge. I took back control, and as I stand on that empty lot, blueprint in hand, the voice in my head says one thing over and over. Some endings don't need forgiveness. They just need finality.